Hey guys, welcome to Audio Alchemy with Chris Smith, one of the best shows ever, where I interview some of the best singers, songwriters, and voice actors out there to find out how they turn their magnificent voices into the pure gold and talent they give us. And tonight's guest is no exception. He is what can I say about him? He's a singer-songwriter manager who has worked with some of the best people that you've ever known, such as the bass player and Jennifer Glatchover. He is also the writer, creator, and producer of Stories from Styx, an underworld musical based literally on Greek mythology that has blown up in the last year. He is an amazing talent where you've probably seen him react to Epic the Musical and numerous singer-songwriters that you've watched there. This is Mr. Casper Fox. Lovely to have you here, sir.
Lovely to be here. What an introduction. Wow.
How can I not do a proper introduction to one of our greats out here, Mr. Casper? So, like I said off the top, you are a brand manager, or is that was your main job?
Yeah, previously, yeah.
Yeah. So, for some people who don't know, brand manager is basically someone who works for someone's public image.
Yeah, it was basically like an umbrella term because I was doing a lot back then for like people. I would be anything from a social media manager to a YouTube planner to like a strategist to a customer support agent. I was basically like anything that wasn't like, for example, for the bass game back in the day, it was anything that wasn't like music related, sometimes even music related, that I would take care of that, basically.
Because that's the thing. Like, you were basically the background guy. You were the one who was like, everyone doesn't know, to be like, oh, how do they make all these videos sound so good? How do they make their image and social media sound fantastic? That was your job, basically, to make someone look good.
Yeah, I can't take sole credit for it. Obviously, we like the boys are very hardworking. Especially like our Marwan was very, very big on the editing back in Bass Gang as well. But I clicked post.
No, you did much more than that. But that's the thing. Like you said, that was your day job back then. So, what was the day to day for people who don't really understand like what a brand manager does in order to get themselves out there? What was your way to sort of get someone in the limelight?
Like I was always on it because I have a background in like marketing and selling already, and I had I still have, but I had a very big passion for acapella music specifically, right? So a brand manager, it's like it's a very, let's call it a saturated market in that regard, right? Because they're like when musicians usually make it to that percentage where they would need someone like a brand manager, there's a big chance they already probably have a label, or someone who's been doing it for 50 years is gonna get there before you do. So I found it better to be like reach out to like a group or a person or whatever and be like, hey, I don't need payment like upfront, but I'd love to like work with you guys for like a couple of months, and then if I take you somewhere new, that loyalty kind of stands so that you'll start paying me once I bring you to that regard. And then it was literally just like staying on top of like trends, seeing how you can not manipulate, but how you can use those trends in order to push your own. Because in the end, like as a seller, you also kind of see that music in those terms is a product in that sense, right? So you need to figure out, how can I take this social media trend and apply my product to it? And then like for example, way back in the day, I remember the Bass Gang, there was this meme with the boys where like something would happen, it would pause on a frame, and then Imagine Dragons song would play. And we did that with the Bass Gang to kind of like be in on that trend, because then you also get more people exposed to like you as people, but also like your music, and then that kind of goes hand in hand.
No, but I love that, because that's sort of thing I think that most people don't understand, is that in order to be a singer-songwriter these days, you do have to be very good at marketing. And the fact that you do have a long background, you studied it in marketing and selling, you had sort of a lead that where other singers and songwriters didn't. So did that background, especially when you went on and did your own work, like did you have was it nice to have that kind of a safety net to be like, oh, I kind of already know what to look for?
Yeah, I definitely say that like having that background is an advantage. But it's also because we're in a place where you have to be able to like as an artist. I always tell people that like if you want your hobby to become your job, you have to treat your hobby as a job, and then when your hobby becomes a job, then your job can become your hobby again. So people will be like, oh, like today I'm like, this week I'm not really feeling creative, I don't really want to create something or do some or stuff like that. But you can't really take that luxury when you're trying to achieve something. Like, okay, you can take the week off, but that's a week less of you getting to the point that where you want to be. So you have to find a healthy balance about like you want to achieve this goal, you need to be really, really on point with like what you want to reach, your goals you want to reach, but also in a capacity where it doesn't burn out. And I knew that like there were days where I would wake up and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it today, and da da da. But then I remember, if this was a job, you can't just say, I don't want to go to work today because I don't feel like it. You can't have that mindset when you're building something in that regard, right? So I feel like that's the biggest advantage I have, was that with that background comes a specific mindset in that regard, and that really, really helps, especially when you're indie and don't have other people to rely on in that capacity.
I suppose that's also difficult because the two jobs that you have as a brand manager and as a musician, one does rely solely on you being creative, in the sense like you can't just say, okay, I have to write 5 songs today. Like that is a tough challenge. I mean,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
I mean, is that a mindset where it's just like, with working as both sides, like you might not feel creative one day, but it's like, okay, I have to have something down on paper, or is it just sometimes with music I have to just go with the flow?
Well, what I'll usually do is that, like, okay, if you're not in the creative mind space today, then you're gonna do something else productive. So, for example, if you had a week where you did like 6 demos, and then the week after you're like, I don't feel creative today, I don't really feel it. Okay, then you're gonna go back to the 6 demos you already did. Oh, maybe there's some piano you can touch up, or maybe there's some stuff you can change in the arrangement, or yada yada yada. Because that is like kind of like the grunt work of being a musician, anyways. Like when you go to the rewrites and there's something you want to like polish. So instead of like of wasting your creative space, like oh, I'm feeling creative to like create and write and arrange, then you don't spend that energy touching up demos that can be spent where you're in the mindset of, I don't feel creative today, I'd rather just chill. And then you can do that, but you should be creative in that regard.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I mean, have you had the demos where you've made them, but then just haven't touched them in how many years?
Oh yeah, that there are definitely where like I'll like have this like and it's for some reason it's always like after midnight, and you're like oh, and then you run to the like run. I write all my music on this setup right here behind me, and I'll run from my bed like, okay, now I have this, and then I'll spend like 4 hours on a demo, and then I'll play it in the next morning. It's like, I mean, it's dope, but I don't know where to put this, so I just kind of put it in the cool song, don't know where to put it folder, and I have like 20 to 30 songs there, so that there are a bunch in there collecting dust. And then sometimes like if I'm experiencing some new media or whatnot, I'll be like, this song kind of fits this a little bit. And Stories from Styx was a lot that like a lot of the songs were songs that I've written previously, where it's like, well, this chord progression and this like feeling I want to portray with this song fits into the universe I'm trying to create. And then you can kind of go back and then polish the demos and then whatnot.
Well, I mean, we should highlight not just how talented you are musically, just because if anyone's watching, looking at the video podcast right now, you can see behind him the number of instruments that you have, ranging from to pianos to pianos to guitars. Like, I mean, like you literally like, I mean, I imagine the piano is your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, well, the guitar has grown to become my favorite. It's mostly because that I was like, I'm self-taught in everything musically. So when I learned that like, oh, I don't have to be able to like fully shred a guitar, I can just do it on a piano. When I found out what a guitar was, so I was like, oh my God, that is sick. So I got this Axe one here, and it's so cool. It feels so cool to play on.
No, but I mean, the fact that you are self-taught is like an unheard of talent these days, especially in today's music world, where like a lot of times you don't need to actually know how to play these things. But it's like, you know, you need to just do music. Like, is it easier to just sort of help when you're writing songs to be like, oh yeah, I can actually play this stuff, I don't need a computer?
Yeah, it's really nice because you also have like with the way how MIDI works and all that, is that like, for example, I don't play the violin or the flute or the tuba or whatever, right? So if I need like, I want to know how this like sounds in an orchestral manner or whatever. So what I'll do is that I have a ton of like samples on my laptop, which connected to this, and I'll play it on piano, and I'll change the sound in MIDI to like an orchestral sound or whatever, just to see like, okay, so instead of having this piano motif here or this chord progression here or whatever, I can see maybe it fits better in French horn section, or in the different brass section, or in the strings or whatnot. So you get to play around, because like, even though there is like a bass and a guitar and a guitarlele and piano and all that stuff, it's still like, will at some point create like, I'll get, like, for lack of a better word, I'll get a little tired of just that. So it's nice to be able to have like a refreshing sound, like go in and then do some bigger scores in that sense.
I mean, yeah, because I imagine that happens with a lot of the songs that you've done, where it's like you'll have something on there, but you'll think like, oh, you know what, this could go with some trumpets or some saxophone. Again, that would be great. But then you have to be like, great, how do I find a saxophone player to get this to do this now?
Yeah. I mean, I'll like what I'll do for like if it's something like a bigger project where like I'll have a little bit more budget to move around and whatnot. I'll actually have like real orchestral players. Like I'll commission them. Like I'll go on Fiverr or find someone on social and be like, because I really love like collaboration in art is one of my favorite things. And I had like so many people work on the Stories from Styx project. I had so many animators, like freelance animators, and a lot of a lot of instrumentalists in future parts that I'm currently writing. And I just love to be able to like, okay, now I've written this piece and I can send out the commissions and then like collect them like puzzle pieces, and then when it all fits together, like both animation wise but also just soundscape wise, it is just one of the coolest feelings ever.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll get the Stories from Styx soon, just because I mean that's obviously the big project you're working on right now. But I want to first get into the fact that you started then doing YouTube in 2023. Started to reacting literally as yourself as a manager to several artists out there. Was there any particular like reason you wanted to start reacting to musicians, or did you see other people, or was it just you wanted to do it yourself?
Yeah, like I mean, when I started, it was just because that like I'd been working for a lot of reaction YouTubers, like helping them prep videos and chase trends and give them like a breakdown of what's working, what's not working. So I knew what I knew what works and what doesn't. And then because in 2023 I was more of an acapella YouTuber. I would do like a cover a month and stuff like that in that space. And then in 2024 I was like, I'm gonna try this reaction analysis business and see like what it is for me, if I enjoy it and whatnot. And I'll like, okay, well, I have an advantage because I know I know what to appeal to, and I know what audiences would enjoy reaction and analysis videos, right? And I went in like knowing, like, for example, I worked with both Jennifer Glotzover and Peter Barber, like representing them back in the day, and I knew that like what videos of those did well and which like did less well, and I was like, okay, let's remember what do we know did well. So I started off with that, and I think my first video got like 100K plus in like a couple of weeks when I started on Twitter. So I was like, okay, I mean, this is probably something for me. And then I just slowly slid into like a genre, which has now become like musical theater analysis.
But it says so much, like when those who do like reaction shows, even me. But like the one when you have like a background of like, oh no, I actually know what I'm talking about. That will get you the numbers. I mean, yeah, like the first few videos you have like 100,000 views in a couple of weeks. Like that is. Just to let anyone know, that's unheard of. For like a new YouTuber who doesn't know what they're doing. Was it a little bit like, oh, I was expecting this kind of like numbers, or was it genuine like, oh my god?
I like fully honest. I was expecting the video to do well. Like full transparency, I was expecting this because I've seen like what that audience specifically. They're very passionate about sharing that particular artist, and they were very, very nice receiving me into the community and stuff like that. But I didn't expect it to do that well. Like that was kind of nuts. Yeah, I was expecting to do decent numbers. Like, okay, I can like slowly get monetized over the first month and whatever. And literally after the first video, I was monetized on YouTube, just like one, which is nuts.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you worked with a lot of singers out there who actually do reaction shows themselves. Mm-hmm. But well, I mean, first off, of any of the singers that you've reacted to, is there any common thing that they do that you've seen where you're like, oh my god, they're doing this again?
I think with the people that I've seen, like a lot of them, like I think I've been very lucky because I haven't really experienced anything like that with the stuff that like in my experience, everyone does something differently. Not just specifically the artist, but everything surrounding it. There's always a different approach. And I like to see it as it's like that's like the humanity in us, you know, like the soul in us. Yeah. That there's always a different approach to specific, if it's a song or a video or a show or any situation, there's always some kind of humanity in there, right? So no, I actually haven't said like, oh, they're doing this again. I picked out on like maybe smaller similarities and stuff like that, but like I feel like the I guess the word would be individualism or whatever really shines through in people.
Well, I mean, it's also the fact that a lot of the people you know are reactors themselves. And a lot of, I mean, that's the problem with a lot of reactors is that everyone reacts to the same things. Have you been in a situation where all your friends have reacted to the same video, but you have to try and say something that's different to what they've said about that same video?
Well, honestly, full transparency, I don't really watch reaction content unless it's like stuff that like really interests me. So I'll like, for example, like I'm a part of a lot of indie music. Like I checked out your Faded reaction, for example. I checked that
Oh,
one out.
thank
So
you.
I'll watch just to see like okay, like what are people feeling? Is there like, because I take like from top to bottom, I take any like critique or like pointers I could get and see like, okay, should I implement this or not and stuff like that, right? But other than that, I have to be very passionate about something to like watch reactions. I've never experienced where like everyone has watched something and I have to watch something different, but I have experienced where everyone has watched something and then I was like the odd one out because I didn't want to kind of like do that. There was,
Yeah.
you know the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
That's it. Because all like everyone in the network did like a reaction of that
Yeah.
particular one. But I was like, Netflix are kind of not that nice to me when it comes to reaction content, so I kind of
Oh,
don't want to do that.
believe me, I know the same thing because I did it as well. Like I was like,
Yeah.
how do I make sure Netflix actually likes me
Yeah.
because they don't like anything on YouTube. No, but I mean, I guess that's a fair. So when it's something like that, or like Epic, or like your voice play, or anything bit like that, where it's like, oh god damn it, everyone's gonna ask me to do it. Like I've got to do it just because everyone's up there.
Yeah, it's and that's why it's like I've done a different approach to my YouTube channel than most people because like some like if you look at the content that like let's take for example Peter Barber and Jennifer Glatzhofer, some of the best reaction YouTubers in the
Yes,
game, like
fantastic
easily,
people.
right? And they have a more like I'd call like a trend chasing approach, which is a good approach for YouTube. That's why they have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and whatnot,
Yeah.
right? Consistent, like I'll say like inconsistent view count, but not in particularly a bad manner. It's just that like for example, let's say that Dimash is trending this week, then they will do reaction analysis for Dimash because that's the smart thing to do. That's what like they can share their thoughts and do their work, but they can also chase the trend, which is good for their numbers, right? But then if next week they move on to something different, then all the people that subscribe from Dimash, they're not going to watch those videos. And then that kind of continues so that they probably have like 200 different fandoms in their subscriber base that they have utilized, like really like, and I cannot I think it's such a smart approach for YouTube, right? But then for example you look at their Patreon communities, right? Where for example, if they would have put like more effort into their Patreon rather than their YouTube, then probably their subscriber numbers wouldn't be as high, but the support on Patreon would probably be significantly different, right? So when I switched to into my niche of musical theater reaction analysis, I focused more on Patreon rather than YouTube, and I still focus more on Patreon rather than YouTube, which is why I don't do I haven't done these the trend chasing ones because I'm honestly not that interested in growing my YouTube as much as I'm interested in maintaining the very, very healthy support I have on Patreon and the community management I have there. And I've put a lot of effort into having like a great community on Patreon, and I love the fact that there are such different approaches to content creation because there's like what I'm doing and what Pete and Jen are doing, none of it's right or wrong or anything like that. It's just different approaches to content creation, right? And I love that we have like the differences in it, right? And I have wondered like, what if I did like Pete and Jen did? Because for YouTube, that's the smart choice.
No, I understand it because that's literally what I do as well. Well, my YouTube is one of the sense I count. I mean, my Patreon is my part of YouTube, whereas like YouTube is my content, and Patreon's like, oh, you want the extra stuff? Go to there.
Yeah.
Like, so I do the reverse of what you do, but it's like
Yeah.
in a sense, I understand the issue of like following the trends, but also just like noticing like what fandoms are the loyal ones. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I recently did that Percy Jackson where it was like
Oh, yeah.
that might not be massive and everyone else, but I know that fan base is loyal because there's a
Very much
book
so,
fan
yeah.
that everyone loves.
Yeah.
But I love the fact even hearing you right now, like you say you left that well behind, but the marketing strategist that you are is in there. Like,
Oh yeah.
what can I do to make sure that these numbers do well? It's like,
That never leaves.
no, but that's smart. I love that because that's literally what you have to think of, especially when you do YouTube or social media or when you release any music now these days. You have to think, where's the best place to go? Especially like I mean, with most of your recent demos and things, is there a place where it's like, okay, like I mean, because like Spotify, Apple Music, every single songwriter out there thinks like, what's the best place to put these on? Like,
Yeah.
do you have somewhere it's like, is Spotify like your favorite, or do you prefer YouTube? What's your take?
Yeah, it's a little bit because like especially for streaming, there is a monopoly in Spotify, and it is like it's an evil circle because if you don't have your music on Spotify, then you are like you're hindering yourself in growing. But Spotify pays nothing. They pay so badly. They pay their artists nothing. Like it's really really bad. And it like if you went to a job and they would pay you as much as like Spotify pays you per like per stream, it would be like some kind of like violation in like with ethics or something.
God,
Yeah. So but the main issue is that like it's kind of up to you if you want to do that, but there is a monopoly. So if you're not on Spotify, you're gonna have a hard time growing your music, even if you're promoting it on short form content platforms like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and whatnot. But like actually buying, like purchasing, like for example, you can do it on iTunes and BandLab and all that stuff. Like that's where for support is the best. But if you're an artist and you're especially posting like original music, like in such a saturated market, and especially with like AI music on the rise and everything like that, it's tough. Like it's so very tough. So it's very like, stick with it, do it because like it's fun. But if you have a certain point, you have to take certain initiatives, especially with like chasing trends, like seeing like, oh, do you like this, then you might like my song because but there's a lot of like it's basically a double-sided coin no matter what. It's like I talk to a lot of like indie music creators, especially in the musical space, and I always tell them like, it's a good marketing strategy to be like, do you like Epic the Musical, Hamilton, then you'll enjoy this. Like, yeah, you'll bring in some big names, which is really good, catches people's attention. But then remember, the second you say that, they will compare you to all those musicals. And if you are an indie writer trying this out for the first time, they will murder you once it comes out. They're going, this is nothing like Epic or Hamilton, and Epic and Hamilton is way better, and you know, right? So there's a lot of things you gotta get an overview of.
Well, especially about that, especially I mean, you've done covers before. It's like, especially like if you put yourself out there as like, oh, I do covers of certain songs, especially musical songs, where it's just like the fandom will come after you if it's so different, and it's like, no, but this is my take. It's like,
yeah.
That's not the point.
And it's so weird because like I remember there was a massive backlash to SFS when it initially came out, but only on TikTok. So people were expecting SFS to be Epic 2.0, like to the T, like this is the new Epic, right? Which obviously it's not. So it was either that like I made something that was mine, like I'm very proud of it. Okay, we don't like this because it's not Epic. But then if I had made Epic 2.0, guess what they would have said? This is just Epic 2.0. What are you doing? Make your own stuff. You can't please anyone.
You can't win. It's just a step back. I mean, because it's also that you were talking about how like some trends you can't do. I mean, you have branched out on your Patreon to watching TV shows and certain things. I think you've been recently doing Hell of a Boss, haven't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what I mean. That like Has Been Hotel, which is one of the shows where it's like, even I know, if you want to like have the numbers, you kind of have to watch them because they give you big numbers.
Yeah. I mean, like I think that like obviously there's a lot of controversy about Haspin and Helova and Vivsi Pop and all that stuff, but like to its core, I think it's a good show. Like I think it's a great show. It has some dope music, but again, the community. Do not say a bad word about Haspin.
No, they are loyal, and they are. You say one bad word about it, yeah. Then the fact that Amazon is also particularly very protective of ensuring that they don't get paid for any free music that they do.
Yeah, it's for some reason, like Amazon is actually the big, like one of like the bigger companies like Disney, Netflix, all that stuff. Amazon is the one I have the least problems with. Like they will always like when I dispute and appeal my RNAs, they always go through. Like I haven't had a problem with Amazon. I think it's because that like when I do my reaction analysis videos, I make sure to cut it down for two reasons. Number one is that it's easier with copyright to like do that, but also just because that like I put extended, longer, unedited videos on Patreon, so cutting them down on YouTube actually gives my patrons a better experience of set content. Like they get way more for their money's worth, right?
No, but that's good. That's what you should do. It's like give them the more, because then I mean, it's like the same thing where it's just like Amazon. I don't think it was Amazon that was mean to me. It was more like YouTube was, because YouTube was like, no matter what, they don't like any copyright music, no matter what's on there. That's just the deal. Like, that's what it is. Like if you promote how much is on there, it's going to be copyright strike.
Yeah.
Get into that. Have you been copyright struck by yourself, in the sense like, have you written something and it's like, and YouTube's gone like, no, you can't have those. Like, but I wrote that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I do have that, but it's primarily because like I use an app called DistroKid for my distribution of music, and they have like a thing where you can pay like $20 a year, and they'll take care of like because if someone just blatantly re-uploads stuff, then obviously they are not entitled to monetize that on YouTube. So I want to make sure that no one's like stealing my work. But I made a big deal out of like being very informative about like fair use and how that works on YouTube and stuff like that. And in a for like because I'd seen that the Epic reactors had some trouble with copyright, especially the cover song musicians had a massive issue with the old. It's been fixed now. Like the new Epic management should be way better, but the old one had some troubles with fair use and stuff like that. And a lot of cover song musicians were suffering from that. But we had like there was a great initiative with a lot of people that like really locked in and took the dialogue with the Epic team and eventually got that sorted out. But I made sure that for Stories from Styx that there was like full transparency, like, hi, this is how you can like have money on your videos, reaction or covering SFS. So I walked them through the whole appeal and dispute process. And I've said it to that if someone disputes with a reaction or a cover, it automatically goes through, like no problem at all. But yeah, I have also like when I was posting my like the full animatic, like the part 1 like video with all the animatics and stuff like that, it got claimed as well. So I had to appeal that too, which was very funny.
Did you be like, what the?
He was like, that's me, bro.
That's me, you idiot. I mean, we should at least get into the big ones now, which is about Epic and the musical things. But like, if I've read this right, and this is a weird thing I didn't really know, you didn't really look at any musicals or anything like that until you were literally introduced to Epic, didn't you?
That's right. Because to me, like growing up, my parents would always like, oh, we're going like to the theater to watch this show. I was like, I don't want to. I don't think it's great. Because I was like, musical theater is like classic opera, right? And me as a kid, I didn't enjoy that. I enjoy it now, but back then, and then growing up with that mindset, I just always had like a negative association with anything musical theater, right? And then eventually I was then shown Epic and I was like, wait, this is like a story, but it's music. That's pretty cool. That's like really awesome. And I got to check out a bunch more. So I was like turned fully around on musicals, which eventually like, you know what? This storytelling through music is kind of cool. I want to try that too, you know?
I mean, it's another thing that fans are a little bit surprised about when they get to say, oh, what's your favorite musical? I'm like, the ones I've watched. Like,
yeah, I was like, I haven't really watched the stage play. I guess Frozen, I would say, like stuff like that.
Oh, God. Well, I guess a lot of fans then can thank Mortius as well for introducing you to it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, like, because I also know that you are a big Greek mythology fan. Like, yes. I know you like that. I mean, anyone who listens to Stories from Styx can take that you are a Greek mythology fan. Was Epic sort of like just the fact that it was Greek mythology sort of enticed you to be like, oh, I should keep looking into this, or was it the music itself?
Oh, it was definitely I like Greek mythology is awesome. Like you can't go wrong with Greek mythology. It's just so sick. But it was genuinely the music. And how because Jay has like a Peter and the Wolf approach to his music, which is basically that a character is represented by a specific instrument, like Odysseus guitar, Athena piano, and so on, right? And I was really intrigued by that. But then later, because like I literally hadn't really heard about the Odyssey before all this or the adaptations. That was kind of my first real yeah. So I was like I had my Greek mythology phase back like when I was like younger, and it was mostly like I played a lot of Age of Mythology, and my funnily enough my cousin voices Hercules in the Danish dub for
no way, really?
Yeah. So I had that Greek mythology phase and stuff like that, but not as much as like then when I was like, okay, then the whole Wet Hades thing happened, and that was my association. I was like, okay, I need to learn about Hades now. And I learned about Hades, and I was like, okay, I want to tell this story, you know?
No, I love that. Just because I'm watching your reactions to the musical, it's just like every single time, it's just like, where's the Lord of Hades? Where's Hades? And I'm just like, you're in the wrong bit, man. He's not in it. But I mean, I do sort of like love that aspect of like with Epic, because I think you and I sort of reacted to Epic around the same time, because I only got into it a lot last year, and I didn't realize how, going back to other things, how loyal the fan base was.
Oh yeah.
In terms of like, if you say anything bad about Epic, they will come after you. Because I think I did one of the things in the early videos. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like My Goodbye or something. One of the early songs out there where I criticized Athena. I was like, why is Athena doing this? Like, she's a horrible person. And I got hounded by everyone at that bit. Like, how dare you go after Tegan? I'm not going after Tegan.
It's Athena. Yeah.
I mean,
I get
is that weird now? Where it's like you've talked and done critical analysis of each of these people's voices, when later on you're like, oh, I actually get to meet you now. I get to know Tegan. But like, hi, Athena. Now I know what you sound like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like, especially because like people are very protective in fandoms, and it very, very quickly comes off as like hostile, you know, like, especially when we're like, because I agree, like the first time I met, like, I was like, wow, Athena is kind of a meanie in that regard, and then you learn and you get the bigger picture and whatnot. But yeah, they're very quick, especially for reactors. Commenters are very quick to be like, okay, this person has seen maybe 20% of the show, I've seen 100%, therefore he knows the same as I do, therefore I can critique him on stuff he doesn't know, you know. And it's like, bro, like, calm down.
No, but at least the foresight to be like, okay, I understand that maybe she's a meanie. I'm not going to say that right now because I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, so I mean, because I was going to ask, because you have the Greek mythology mindset in there. Was there anything watching Epic where you're like, oh, I'm surprised that you've done this take on this specific character, or like hey, there's like, oh, I'm surprised you left him out. Was there any bit in this story where you were like, oh, that's an interesting way to do it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely, the first time I watched it, I was just like awestruck. I thought it was just awesome. But now, like after, like, it's been like a few years now since I first, like a year and a half since I experienced Epic for the first time, and I've learned so much more about, like, I've been like doing a lot of research into every single popular myth in Greek mythology for my own show and whatnot. So I know a little bit more of that. I guess I'm a little surprised about, like, the whole polities thing, but positively, and it's mostly because like after, like, now having like skimmed the Odyssey and stuff like that, polities is like maybe like one or two sentences referenced in like the original Odyssey, but in Epic he is like the sunshine character that, like, when he then finally gets, you know, pancaked, he just gets like it was hard, and I was heartbroken by it. So I positively surprised that he brought in Polites as such a big character with like the motifs and everything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love the fact, especially because a lot of people do, was that they imagine what the show is going to be like on stage, and I keep telling people, it's like, oh, it's going to be look fantastic. Polyphemus would be very difficult to show on stage because it's a giant cyclops, but I'll let people slide with that. But I mean, I suppose with Epic, the floodgates open because you started a YouTube channel with Mortis called Open Arms, where you literally like react to musicals now, especially one that being Hamilton. So it's like, have you been recommended anywhere? It's like, oh, you have to watch it, you have to go see this live.
Yeah, like pretty much every show that we did on Or was like always a comment that was like the pro shot, and like this version is the best one. No, this version with this guy or with this girl or with this they them. You know, like it was always a recommendation. Like I've still not yet to see any of the shows. I'm so sad because I was supposed to see West End Hadestown with the original cast in like last year, but that was like right around the time where part 1 was releasing, and the night before I was like, I'm so behind on everything. SFS releases in a week, I can't go. So I missed out on Reeve and Ava, and well, I primarily wanted to go because of Patrick Page, Hades in his
oh my god, yes,
he tore his Achilles tendon, so he wasn't performing anyways. I was like, okay, well then it's all right.
No, but I suppose that there are some. I mean, Patrick as Hades is like iconic in the voices that he does. I mean, like, it's like, especially like how low and how deep he can go with it. Have you had any similar songwriters that you've watched where you're surprised like how the vocal range they go, and it's like, oh, I wonder if I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate, especially for my acapella days, that I've like been training a lot of extended ranges. So I'll try out a song if I do it. Especially like I actually did "Hey Little Songbird" as like a short video on my channel down in the more Basie area. But like I can only do that in the morning because like very naturally I'm a tenor, right? So I was able to get down there in the morning. But like if you had to like ask me like, yo, can you come perform as Hades for like 7 nights in London? I'd be like, no.
Yeah. You'd be incredibly flattered, but no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, is there any particular, now that the floodgates are open, is there any particular musical or role where it's like people have said, "Oh, you'd be great in this bit," and you're like, "Okay, maybe if it comes across." Any particular role come to mind?
I like I was like my YouTube commenters were really nice saying that Orpheus, Hades Town would be a good fit for me. Uh,
Oh, because I think yeah, you do the vocal. You do the voice for it, especially because he's quite high. He's
yeah.
not incredibly high, but like his melody, like I imagine in some words, like you test it out saying you could do it.
Yeah. I often like play the, funnily enough, like they're called epic, the songs in Hades Town, like the little interludes that he
Yeah.
has, and I often play those on stream. I love singing the la 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 part. It's so pretty, and it sits really nicely in that mixed falsetto that he gets up into.
Well, I love it that because it's also especially in stories from Styx, since that. Do you like playing the good guy?
I mean, it like. I guess like I do enjoy playing the good guy, but also something that I really made sure about SFS is that like is very subjective, you know, with the whole Persephone thing. So I wanted to make sure that there was like that there was a representation of every aspect of said myth. So you can see from Hades' perspective that it's all about love. Persephone's perspective, it's kind of like both her own decision but also like a kidnapping, and then from Demeter it's just the kidnapping, right? So I tried to represent all three sides with the three songs I did. So I'd say that like from the my Persephone song POV, then like yeah, it's fun. I do enjoy playing villains every now and then, but for that it was nice because I got to portray Hades as like a heartfelt character more than like, because every mainstream media portrayal of Hades is always that he's a villain, very famously in Hercules, Disney, for example. And I think that's like part of the reason why he's so almost demonized in a regard,
Well,
right?
oh, I suppose in the sense of like just get into it because I do want. I mean, stories from Styx I will get into the next hour because that's a whole conversation we'll get
Yeah.
into. That's more fun. But like I've always one of my Hades has always been a strange. I mean, all it's safe to say for anyone who doesn't know Greek mythology, none of the gods are good guys.
No,
Not
they're like
not
it's your pick your favorite war criminal, like
yeah,
literally.
they are
Yeah.
all horrible. Especially now that I get into the world of Percy Jackson, I'm like, oh, these are great people. Like, no, they're not. Like they're horrible.
Yeah.
Like one of the best things I've ever read, which was it's by I think it's like the Odyssey, not the Odyssey, the Iliad by Stephen Fry, where he does his take on it, where it's like
Right.
that's what I mean. Like the Trojan War, especially one was that they talk about how gods actually got involved in it. And one of the best lines I saw in that story, where it's like, oh, Zeus sent things on one side and Ares was on the other. Hades couldn't care who wins or dies because they all go to him.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, okay, yeah, no matter what, he ain't gonna lose. You know, it's all gonna come to him. But I mean, like, so I mean, it's a weird sort of like getting into it. It's like because the floodgates of like musicals are out there. Because you have actually now joined another musical. Getting into
Yes.
what I talked about, because you're now in Fated the musical.
I am, yeah.
Yes, I mean, how did that approach get by for you to play the lovable King Arthur?
Oh my God, it's such an honor, such a pleasure, and it's like one of like I'm in a handful of musicals now just because there was that like TikTok boom of rising. So I got to be both in Fated and Gilgamesh. I'm in Return to the Moon. What else am I in? I'm in a lot of stuff. That probably. I'm Fearless as well.
Are you in Peter's musical?
I'm not in Melody of War, no. Because that came out like after I was like, okay, I have a lot on my plate now, so I haven't really auditioned for it.
Too much Greek stuff. You want your own.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, like it's also like that is like also like as a really crazy standard for their auditions. I'm not even sure they'd have me. I'm a piece of
How dare you put yourself in that low of a standard?
But yeah, no, but Faded is incredible, and it was like. It was starting to pop up on like on my For You page as well and stuff. I was like, wow, this is like, because it's been like you had Adrian on the show, right?
I did, yeah. She had nothing but good words on you, and just like amazing. I was like, oh my God, I got Casper on here. Like, how did I do that?
I was like, oh, that's so, because I funnily enough initially auditioned for Lancelot. I auditioned for Lancelot, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. And Audrey seems like such a genuine, down to earth person and such a badass. Like I've never like. Faded is not just a musical at this point because there's so much going around. Like there's like dubs and video games and everything.
And the fact that she manages it all is fantastic of her.
And like she's a mom and like is now like also expecting again, right? So
yeah.
like, I'm like, bro, I can like I can't even make my bed in the morning. And you're like, I was like, wow.
But that's in different perspective. I was like, oh damn, I feel like I'm a bit wasteful.
Yeah, it's a great, yeah, but it was so fun, and like the team is so nice, and my goodness gracious, like because you can really feel that Faded is a passion project. She's been working on it since like high school or college or something like that. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
and it just shines through how much she wants to like tell this story. And I met some great people through Faded, and I get to I get to like my work with a lot of my friends, like especially like Jake Lancelot is someone I've gotten really close to with Faded. And then you have all these like pretty much, I'm pretty sure like 80% of the SFS cast is in Faded. Like I think like Alex Harper, who plays Poseidon, is in there. Peter, I think, is in there. I'm not sure. Ellie and Knox are in there.
Yes.
There's like I'm pretty sure Somni, Emily. So there's all the Olympians are in there, and Rashad, who plays Minos, is also in there. Like it's great. It's so nice.
Well, if I see Jennifer, and I'll let her know that, oh, you've joined the crowd now. but I mean, like, because I imagine, was the appeal there of like trying to do Lancelot, and then just like, I want you to play Arthur. I'm like, oh, you want me to play the lead? Like,
because I was like I think I love I love undermining myself, right? So I'm like, okay, well, there's gonna be someone who like really has the voice for the spotlight here, for Arthur and whatnot. So I was fine playing like a smaller character. And then when I submitted my audition, I was like, oh, like you're made into the final round. And then they had this like group, like it was not just Audrey. Is it Adria or Audrey? I actually never said that word out loud.
Adriana, I think.
Okay, well, Audrey, yeah.
She never corrected me when I interviewed her, so it's like, that's what I take.
Yeah, I just realized I've never said it out loud. I've only typed it. So yeah, but then they came back, and there was this group like behind Faded, and it was like and then it was like, oh, like they're really nice and like really love my tone. Would this person be interested in playing Arthur? And I was like, what? I was like, oh, you want me to play the main guy? And I auditioned for it, did some chemistry tests, and which eventually ended up with me and Caitlin and Jake, who are like the main trio in that musical. And we're pretty good friends. Like I play D&D with Kate every Friday, and it's so much fun. So it's like we got to be really, really close. I'm really enjoying singing with my friends.
I love that. Well, I mean, it's strange because I mean, like almost everyone knows King Arthur quite a lot, and everyone has a different take on King Arthur. Yeah. Especially like, because I told this to Adriana before, like her take on the Arthurian legend is different compared to what everyone else has done. Yeah. So was there an expectation you were going into thinking like, oh, I know what she wants me to play, and then was it just like you talked about, it's like, this is how I want your Arthur to be like?
Well, she's really, really good at like kind of meeting me halfway in that regard, because like as you say, she has a very specific path she wants to take with this story, which I think she does really, really well. And I think that it's great that we're not just doing like a 1-to-1 off the myth, like taking some creative leverage, because it's a little scandalous, and there's some chitter and chatter there, and I love it. I think it's great.
I mean, I love the fact you wanted to play Lancelot. You were going to go that route of like going the Arthurian legend, because also for anyone who doesn't know, the Arthurian legend as a whole is weird. There's a lot of stuff that she cuts out.
yeah, big time, and that's like especially like seeing like older interpretations and folklore and mythology through a modern lens. There are things that are like not okay anymore. That, like, for example, there were commercials back in like the 60s or like 50s for like, okay, here you are smoking in the kindergarten, your teacher's smoking, and it's awesome. Like, oh wow, look at, do you see she's smoking? That's awesome. You look at it now and be like, what are you doing? So like it's like we have the benefit of like seeing it through modern lenses. But I'm also glad that like the mythology community generally are pretty good at like, if something is chosen not to be adapted or is like changed around a little bit, then they're not like, oh, this is bad or this has to be 1-to-1 stuff. They're generally like in the indie community, they're pretty good at it. And Edgar specifically, when she wants me to portray Arthur a specific way, I'm able to like, okay, but I feel like Arthur here, he's like, now he's rizzing, or now he's like sad or whatever. Can I change the melody like ever so slightly, like and it's always like like a little thrill like at the end of a passage, or holding out a note into my duet partner's passage, or whatnot. And yeah, like Faded is such a great, like she's done such a great job of having like still the core of the Arthurian legend, I feel, but also mixing modern elements. Like there's a lot of LGBTQ representation in the Faded musical, and they're really great and open with that. And I feel like it mixes well in a place where it's not just like, this character is gay, accept it. Here, you see, it's gay character here, guys. You know, I really love that it's that it's like it works. You know, like it's just, I think that's really well. I feel very comfortable representing characters like that. You know.
Well, especially because I think she told me like the relationship with Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot, the way she's portrayed, is just like, oh, okay, like that's a take on how they do it, because it's like she doesn't want to do it the whole cheating aspect. It's like, okay, fair enough. That's a way out of it. I'll let you have it.
I mean, I think it's creative. Yeah.
I mean, because she gives a lot of control to everyone else out there in terms of like, because the stories mixed out there. Did you ever say in what your character looked like?
Well, yeah, the character was like, this was like back around when I was being cast and everything. This was when I had like the long hair and everything like that. And it was like, it is, Arthur is visually based on me, like in that way. I've cut my hair since because I got tired of dealing with it. So
no, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, and it's really, really cool. Like, I think it's really fun to see yourself like it's me, but it's not really me. Like, you know, that I think it's.
Well, I mean, like, how is it complimentary to be like, oh, it's a take on like this is like, because you can't, so you have to separate. It's like, this is Arthur. It's like, yeah, but that's also that's me.
Yeah.
Like, I can see me there.
It gets a little like you have to like especially for like, because there's a lot of romance, especially in the Arthurian legend, and I had to like, there's a song in Chronicle 1 where like I'm literally just trying to chat up Fran, which is Morgana. And it's because like Fran and I are like we're buddies. We chat every now and then, but then like you have to, okay, now you're Arthur, this is Morgana, go romancer. It's like, okay,
play up the charm. It's just
exactly.
Oh.
And it's like we're professional. We're pretty good at like turning it on, and then when it's gone, we turn it off. But then you see it in the animatics, right? And I find myself not like yeah, it's Arthur, but like it also kind of looks like me, and that kind of looks like Fran. You can't help but like see that, and then have like a little raised eyebrow in a capacity, right? It's never like for more than like maybe just a second, just like, I forgot they're based on us, and we're doing that. You know?
No, but yeah, because for a split second you're watching yourself flirt with Frank.
Yeah, it's like, well,
which is well, this isn't just private as well. There's a lot of people saying this now. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, it definitely helps that, like, especially like with Arthur and Hades and all the other characters that I play that have visual representations of me, is that like Arthur has the armor and the cape and stuff that I would like never wear, and like even like you can see that it loosely resembles me, but it's not like one-to-one when it comes to that. Like, it's just like it's just a great way, because we did it for From Styx, and I think it's like I took inspiration from Epic. Jay gave an interview very early on in the Epic creation process when he was doing like commissioning the animatics from people, and he said that having the characters loosely resemble their voice actors kind of gives their voice actors like you see that I was in that, and you know that because it loosely resembles me in that regard. And I was like, I kind of love that. I want to also pay homage to the people that helped make this happen, you know? So I'll like, that's why like basically every character in SFS resembles their voice actor.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know why Hades has long hair and looks just like, okay, you know, that's what I do. Well, I mean, we got about 10 or so minutes there, but I just want to touch on it. You said, how many musicals are you involved in now?
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so there's a lot. So we have obviously From Styx, obviously.
Yeah.
Faded. I'm a guard named Jonas in Gilgamesh the Musical by Nick Flip, which is peak. I'm in Return to the Moon by Beth, which is an incredible one. Very Prime Disney inspired. I am in Next to Normal Rewired, which is a fan cast recording for that. I am in Fearless the Musical, where I play the Kraken. I forgot his name, Aegis or something like that.
Okay.
Am I in anything else? If I'm forgetting something, I'll be very embarrassed, because then I'll lie awake at night and be like, "Oh shit, I'm also in this."
No. Sorry for the swearing. But even with that's 6 musicals you're involved in. How? I mean, like, How do you like work out which one to do?
I was like okay, Storage From Styx Part 1 is out, and like it's fun. Like I'll try to like extend like my portfolio when it comes to like voice acting and musical and stuff. That's like okay, then all these TikTok musicals were popping up. It's like I'll audition for a bunch and hopefully I'll get like one or two, get some like side roles, and then I got every single one. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have so much work now. And on top of that, I was cast in like I'm in a bunch of like indie video games and web shows and all that stuff, and like doing covers and run the YouTube channel. It was a lot. So it was just because I didn't expect it.
I mean, you don't have to say them, but I was like, are there any particular roles where it's like you just had to turn down because you were just too busy?
Yeah. There's been a couple I've had to step down from, sadly, but yeah.
I mean, are there ones where you were like, oh, I really wish I could do it, but I just don't have the time?
Yeah, it was like I was like it's also about like prioritizing in that regard, right? And you gotta see which of these musicals do I see my like a personal enjoyment? Where can I see the characters in? Can I help the project with like because I'm still getting used to the fact that like my name has like a brand behind it now, which helps certain aspects of it. Like it's not that like I'm on the project automatically it's a success. Like that's not what I'm saying, obviously. But
no,
but I'm getting it like the people like when I'm credited on a Spotify release, for example, the people that have SFS in their algorithm will also get that. So I'm always thinking like, is this a musical where they will heavily benefit from me being in it? And then I like picking and choose. So like some of them, the ones that I stepped down from was like people who like already had a big name to themselves. I was like, okay, this project will be absolutely fine without me. Whereas like if I step away from this role that I've committed to, then that might make the project suffer in that regard. Right? I'm trying to like really not sound cocky.
No. It's a thing where you recognize this and that you are a big name now on a lot of these things. Where it's just like I mean, you want somewhere it's like you put yourself out there, people are going to know who you are. It's just like, oh, Casper's playing this, like fantastic,
So I don't think I'll ever get like used to it. I was in Chicago. I've been in Chicago a lot to like record SFS and perform and stuff. And I remember like at the first at the first concert I was at, and someone was like came up like oh hi Cass, like hi, it's like can I take a picture? It's like sure, and then we took a picture. And I was like, what for? I was like oh I really like your concert. It's like oh wow, it's like I didn't even realize that was like a fan interaction in that regard, yeah. So it's still weird getting used to because like I live like I'm based in Central Europe right now, and just seeing the numbers on screen is not the same as actually getting out there and meeting people,
Now, I imagine that must have been like not just knowing the fact that you're recognizable, but the fact that like Stories from Styx, the fact that people are recognizing you solely on the work that you've written. It's like, oh my god, like I'm actually famous now.
I don't know. Like, I mean, it's like it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, now Stories from Styx has done it. It was like a one and done thing. People might have enjoyed it. It got like a few views and stuff like that, and a few like I was like when I was putting out, I was like, oh, it'll get like 10,000 streams in a week, and like hopefully like a couple hundred will be at the premiere for Stories from Styx. And now like the other day we just hit 10 million streams on the first album, and it's just exploding. I've gotten to meet so many incredible people and work with so many incredible. So I guess I'm famous, but I don't know, like, because to me it's like I'm not Tom Hanks in that regard.
Okay. I ain't calling you Tom Hanks. I'm gonna humble you a little bit there, but like you are at least a person where it's like if your name's attached to like a TikTok musical or the musical that's sort of the caliber, it's still a big name to be like, okay, yeah, because I mean it's also about that you do know what you're talking about. You have a. Is that because another question before we go to the break? Is that strange now that you're just a musical guy now? Like you fell into it. It's like, oh, guess I'm a musical guy.
It is a little strange, but it's like strange in a good way. More like oh, I didn't realize that like my presence would have that effect on people. You know, it's still kind of surreal. I don't think I'll ever get used to it.
No, but it's fun. Like last year or so, like 2 years ago, where it was like. You didn't watch musicals at all, and now you're in 6 of them.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's such a weird turnaround.
and now, like most of like the biggest things you've done. I mean, you've done a lot of fantastic big things. Is like associated with a musical. It's just like, okay, I guess that's my niche now. I guess I'll do it. All right, so for anyone, we're going to go to anyone listening to us live. We're going to go to an ad break now for about 5 minutes. So anyone watching the podcast right now, nothing's going to happen to you, but that's just the way it's going to be because I'll just cut to that. You got to have how Spotify podcast works. Like you've got to cut it down because no one likes ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do their ads. But so tune in after the break, guys, where we will go full dive into Stories from Styx because I've held it back as long as possible because I thought. As much as fans want to do it, they want the full hour of this. I wanted to get to know you. That's the deal. So we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes, or like I said, if you're watching the podcast here or on YouTube, I'll see you in about 2 seconds. So let's go to an ad break now and give ourselves a bit of time to relax because I think Casper's a bit annoyed with me just talking too much about him.
No, not at all.
See you next time, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Audio Alchemy with Chris Smith. I am still here with the lovely Casper Fox. Still lovely to have you here. If you're watching us on our website, welcome back. If you're watching us via the podcast, like you said, you missed nothing. So, so we're gonna get into the bit that everyone wants to talk about because this is literally the part where everyone wants to know. Let's get into your pet project, which is Stories from Styx, the musical concept album, literally about the Lord of the Underworld, well, the Underworld itself in Hades. So, I guess the first thing to ask is, why Hades? Why pick him?
It's honestly like when we were doing the Ocean Saga epic reactions, I infamously was like super confident that Poseidon was gonna be Hades. And right after like the first two songs, I was like, this has to be Hades. And then literally the first song they start chanting Poseidon, and then someone in chat, I still to this day have no idea who did it, but someone in chat, like in the live chat, put Wet Hades, and everyone just took it on the back. So like every single time, then every god in epic turned like Thunder Hades, Fire Hades, Wisdom Hades, everything was like, okay. So like I was like, okay, this is funny for a few days, and then like a month passed and it was still happening. It's like, okay, well, if this is my life now, I should know what kind of god Hades is, you know? So
Yeah.
I searched it up and I found a few videos, overly sarcastic productions, and some of the mythology YouTubers that were like mythology guy, overly sarcastic production, John, like all those people are like had videos on Hades. And I was like, I wish there was like a place where it was just all like it was all together in one piece, so I don't have to go like digging for YouTube videos of these obscure, because Hades is a very obscure character. His most famous is just the Hades and Persephone myth and the Titanomachy, right? But there isn't, because he was a very neutral god. They didn't like write a lot about him back in the day. So I was like, okay, well, I would love to try out this storytelling through music with like more of a musical anthology approach to it, and then that ended up being like it was literally called, before Stories from Styx, it was called Highlights of Hades. I'm really glad I changed the name because that sucks, but yeah, so it was just going to be highlights like of what Hades did, which like, and a rough outline was the Titanomachy, so he's born, some character development for him being the first person in the underworld or whatever, and
that's judges, Shades, right?
Shades, yeah, right. And a lot of people pronounce that Shades, but yeah, it is Shades. And then like establishment of the underworld, and then the myth of Persephone, and that's just how like the outline was, and then I just started writing.
I mean, because like you said, there's not much on Hades himself in the sense. I think it's just the start, Persephone, and then Orpheus, which Hades knows that that's much about him. But then like you said, Stories from Styx, it's about the whole of the underworld itself. How hard was it digging through trying to find any stories involving the underworld?
It was like when you're tied to a place, like honestly, there are a lot, because you can kind of spin it in any capacity you want. Like, because like for example, you can take the story of Achilles, right? Because like you know, like we did Achilles' lullaby, because well, for a brief like minute, he like the river Styx is involved. And then you get, okay, well, we can make that part of the universe now because, you know, underworld and Styx and all that stuff, right? But it also comes to like abstract, because like I was obviously like the ones that jumped out were obviously Hades and Persephone was the biggest one, like layered, and so many modern interpretations of it. And then Orpheus and Eurydice, as you say, was also. But then I was like, Orpheus and Eurydice have been done so perfectly well in Hades Town. I kind of don't want to mess with that in like that.
Really? Yeah. I mean, because I was going to ask, that is a famous Hades story to do. It's like is that not on the cards?
It was actually. Part 2 is releasing this spring, and it's going to be 5 songs instead of 6 songs, because I had to cut the 6th song because I don't have time. I didn't have
No,
time to
that's
do
fair
all I was
enough.
saying. And I was
We're
like,
giving you a break.
yeah, so like which of these songs is like cut? And then Orpheus and Eurydice had a song called Eternal Beauty, and it was based on post Hades and Persephone story, like when they're in different realms, where like after Orpheus turns around, Eurydice is in the underworld, and they're on different planes singing of what could have been in that regard, right? I had a couple of my friends, Ryan Tang. I don't know if you know Ryan Tang was pretty big in the acapella community. Actively works with the Bass Gang right now. I'm pretty sure as their social media manager.
I think I've heard of him, but I don't know him like
That
exclusively. But I do.
yeah, that's fair. But he was supposed to be Orpheus, to have Orpheus represent in his like lovely bass voice, and his partner Emlyn was going to portray Eurydice. And I had this whole thing planned, but then I was like looking, I was like, I can't it's just not in the cards right now. So if I add it later, that's the great thing about a musical universe, is that I can add lore and songs whenever I want, basically. But I was like, in this, I'll go with the 5 songs. So we have Achilles' Lullaby and Cheating Death with Sisyphus and Thetis. And then I'll add the 3 songs, have that in EP, and then take a hiatus to like write, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I mean, the first batch, was like Hades and Persephone. You've done Achilles. You did one which I haven't reacted to yet. I'm going to, which is Sisyphus, which is
Yes.
also that you do it because of the aspect of the punishment of it. I mean, is there any particular character or any part of the Greek mythology that someone has commented you missing out?
Yeah, like the most like the 2 biggest ones, like obviously Orpheus and Eurydice is like one of the biggest one I get. But I like, funnily enough, because of the game Hades, Zacharias and Melanoe has been like in my, like they really want the children of Hades. And I really love everything there is about Zacharias and Melanoe. Especially because like the way I'm building the universe, I can take interpretations both from like for the Titans getting like jolted, like from there was a, like in ancient Greece there was like a cult that worshipped Zacharias or Dionysus specifically, or Orpheus specifically, actually. And there is an Orphic hymn to Dionysus, which has this really, really cool way of describing Zacharias actually initially, like as a toddler, being in the underworld, and by Hera's demand, because at that point, in this version, Zacharias is the son of Zeus and Persephone, not Hades and Persephone. So Hera finds out about Zeus cheating, and all that goes down. She goes down to the underworld, talks to the Titans, like, "Don't you want to get back at Zeus? Tear this literal like toddler apart for me, and we'll do it." And they do, and Zeus is mad, jolts them, and then he puts like the remains of Zacharias into his leg, which then later becomes Dionysus, right? So I've been wanting to implement that myth into the SFS universe, which is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a mix of the Orphic hymn to Dionysus and kind of like an original adoptive father, son, daughter dynamic story for the future parts of SFS to play into like an end game in the early 2030s.
I love that, just because I mean, it's the fact like inspiration from Hades. You're not writing the Hades story, the Hades game, because that's its own thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, because there are a few, especially with Hades Persephone, there are certain takes in the sense of like how it's perceived. And it was that a bit of a chance? Because I mean, it's strange to me, especially with Hades. Hades is one of the only few Greek gods who's surprisingly, his deal. He is actually very loyal to his wife. He knows his job. He's actually one of the only Greek gods who's actually kind of decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have like there are certain variants, like for example, there are certain myths where he like cheats with Minthi, for example, and stuff like that. And we literally talked about this like in the first half, that like it's not about choosing the greatest persons. Like, who's your favorite war criminal, right?
Yeah.
And especially with like, because to me, I think like Stories from Styx isn't really about like portraying Hades as like the perfect god in the world, and like he's just like a great guy and everything. It's more nuanced than that, and I wanted to challenge this, like that people see situations, either it's black or white. There's nothing in between. Just it's like this or it's like that. It's like I want to challenge that. I want to say that like you have like this perspective, you have this perspective, and then in between here somewhere, like in the middle of these two, that's where the actual truth is, you know? So I had to find a way to like portray Hades in a way where like he could be portrayed as a good guy, but if you also look into his character, could also be portrayed the other way in that regards. And originally, funnily enough, I wasn't even going to include Demeter in the musical. I was very under the Hades is a good guy bias. And then my friend Jay, not that Jay, different Jay, was like, please, for the love of God, just read the hymn, like read Homer's hymn to Demeter, and then like make your choice. And I read it and I was like, oh my God. Yeah, of course. Oh my God. Makes so sense because from her perspective, she is a mother who lost her
Yeah.
child, right? So I was like, okay, that fits perfectly with that nuanced take I want to get in there, right? But even so, very surface level, it does seem like in Stories from Styx, Persephone goes to the underworld willingly, which isn't the case. But especially with like, there are so many modern interpretations, but like famously Lore Olympus, for example, if you know that comic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's also very like it's very, you know,
Wishy-washy in terms of, like,
yeah.
we can't be for certain, but it's like, that's just,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because there's also, I mean, there's like, I think there's another one. It's like, I think it's called like Blood of Zeus, I think, which is like an anime show. Yeah, that was like
so good.
Oh, yeah, because their take on Hades and Persephone like is also drastically different. Because also that makes Demeter the bad guy.
Yeah, Blood of Zeus season 2 specifically, which funnily enough, my mods introduced me to, it was great, and that season 2 specifically, was a big inspiration for kind of the Hades and Persephone dynamic, because I feel like if you're gonna make Demeter a villain, that is the perfect way to do it. Like my
God,
so well written, right? And I got to actually, funnily enough, speak a little bit with the creators on Instagram, just talking about like interpretations of. But yeah, it was really, really nice. Just like short DM conversation, but it was really, really, really special. And it just like, but most of all, it highlighted just like how biased everything is, like you are reading, like even if we're reading specific like take it world history, right? Like if we look at all the wars, all the calamities, like all that stuff, I bet you that, like, for example, the Vietnam War is not called the Vietnam War in Vietnam. It's called the American War, stuff of that, right? So we're all reading biased takes from history. I was like, I want to challenge that. I want to make sure that you're seeing it through a biased perspective. I want to challenge it for you so that when you've listened to Stories from Styx, you approach every single situation in your life with the knowledge that, okay, I'm getting a biased perspective here, gather more knowledge about the situation, and then take action,
Well, I mean, because, like you said yourself, like Hades in the past, in other aspects, especially in Hercules, is always portrayed as the bad guy, just because he is sort of the Lord of the Dead.
Yeah.
And the fact that Stories from Styx, you portrayed him as, I won't say a quote-unquote good guy, but it's like also a tragic character who has like got the end of the stick, because he is technically one of the three brothers. He's the Olympian god, but he's stuck in the underworld.
Yeah.
Was it with like challenging, like, okay, because like you said, they're not all nice characters. The Greek gods are Greek gods; they're their own thing. Yeah. But it's like wanting to make Hades a tragic character, or at least a good guy. Was there a bit of like a bias there because people sort of have a weird sense of who they know Hades should be to them?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess it's like, again, because me as the writer, I am biased, as you say, like because it's my perspective of like, it's basically my retelling of these stories, how I like to see them, right? Where I've tried to incorporate more viewpoints than just my own, and especially with like knowing that I was gonna voice Hades from the get-go, because I was like, well, this is my musical, I want to be in it.
I'm writing it, I'm the lead.
Literally. So I wanted to incorporate like some of the like hurt that I felt in my life, where I fell out with these friends because of a biased perspective or something like that, right? And writing him as a tragic character rather than just, like, as you say, straight up a good guy, kind of went hand in hand with also how for Hades, like associated with the underworld, like it all comes from like Christian bias, because the devil, Lucifer, like if you're in charge of the dead in Christianity, you're bad. Like that's you're the devil, and in Christianity, you don't associate with the devil, obviously. That's like a core part of their faith. And when the Christian, which is now like Christianity is the biggest religion in the world, a lot of people are Christian, they will associate that to multiple religions, including Greek mythology. So very often when the Christians started taking over the narrative a little bit, Hades was easily associated with being the devil, being in charge of all these, being the Antichrist or whatever. And Zeus was very quickly seen as like God, like the big guy and stuff like that. But if you put these two characters up against each other, I'd say Hades comes out on top when it comes to being like, I guess, morally good in that regard, because Zeus has done
I think any of them against Zeus is a bit more like that. But I mean, like, it's interesting because the way I've sort of like looked at what I've been told in the past, since it's like compared to with Hades and Zeus, I mean, like, because I think something which is funny because I saw on TikTok, it's like everyone says like, oh, that Hades is like god of the dead. He's technically not god of the
No,
dead. He's god of the underworld because
exactly.
because Thanatos is the god of the dead. He's like
Yeah.
the messenger, and like Hades is supposed to be like the war clerk of the
Yeah,
dead. It's like that's
yeah.
so
He just
unfair.
does the paperwork.
Yeah. But no point is that, but like Zeus is, whilst he's king of the gods, he's also the one that's less free because technically he has to be responsible for all the other 12
Yeah.
when they mess up. It's just like, damn, I have to be the one in charge of you
Oh
idiots.
yeah, it's and it's like especially some we did this like I wanted to also like again because there are very many views of a lot of the gods and especially like very nuanced. You are on every aspect of the moral line if that makes sense for Zeus especially. There's some people who've only watched the Hercules movie that will see this is Hercules' father, the goat of like he's just a perfect being, and then you know the people who's read like myths and stuff. I was like, okay, this is not a
This is
like
a take on it. I'll give
yeah,
him
I'm good.
that.
I don't want to do and I wanted to like again with Zeus we had I wanted to take inspiration from Epic, giving Zeus like a more operatic voice, which is why Peter got the part for Zeus, which was fun.
Yeah.
He's great. And if you see in the Titanomachy animatic that Neil Illustrator did. Zeus is
Yeah.
the one who, because canonically he is the one that leads the Olympians and the Elder Cyclopes and the Hecatondries and all the Titans that sided with Zeus. He leads them into victory for like in the Titanomachy. He's also the one to deal the final blow. And I wanted to visually represent that Hades is not the aggressor here. Zeus is. And most of the time, Zeus is the aggressor. So Hades protects his siblings with his shield in the visual, and
Yes.
Zeus deals the final blow. Like Zeus is the aggressor in Titanomachy, right? So we tried to layer that a little bit, and that like getting a Neil Illustrator animatic was just a dream come true. Like my goodness gracious.
Well, I mean, we let's dive into that. I mean, because not only is this musical Greek mythology, you also did get like a lot of people who were associated with Epic,
Yeah.
not just in terms like you had like Neil Illustrator, you had like NS2 Studios, like do animatics
Yeah.
for you. You also had literal Tegan as one of them.
Oh yeah.
In it. I mean, like the comparisons to Epic, what I imagine you were expecting from the get go, like, okay, how many people are going to say this is Epic 2?
Yeah, I mean, like literally working with Tegan and getting to like get to know her and see like Tegan is one of the greatest writers I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Like it is just incredible how talented she is and just how heartfelt it is. And especially like as you say, like yeah, I got a lot of people because it was mostly that one of my really good friends, Archie, he worked on Epic as well. He did the Luck Runs Out automatic for Epic, and we got like really close and we got really good friends. And initially, I wanted like 5 to 6 people to visualize parts of SFS, and then he just kept sending me like because I was like people like Smulio and like Duvet Box, all these like
Like
goats,
Merchio, like you're like
yeah.
yeah,
And he just kept saying like he was like this this person like knows about you and like probably would love to like work on SFS if you want. It's like this person knows about me, and then I just ended up. I think there were like 30 plus visual artists for the very first Doors Mystic, and it was such a pleasure. I got to learn about the entire process. I got to learn like learning by doing is my favorite thing, and I got to learn the entire process. Like had you asked me back then to like you need to animate all this, you're like how you do it's up to you, I would just die, like there's just none. But now
like,
I'm confident that I would be able to project lead like a full animation movie just because I've been involved in so many of the steps. Like I can't draw for S-word, like I'm not an artist in that regard, but I know enough about the process to be able to like oversee a storyboard, oversee mood boards, character designs and whatnot. I have people I know that are good at this and that and this and that, and we got to try that in like a team setting for Achilles Lullaby, for example, right, where Smulio was art directing that, and we had to like basically not puppeteer, but we had to oversee an entire team to get that done. And I genuinely believe like I make a big deal out of being humble, but I genuinely believe that Achilles Lullaby is the greatest like Greek mythology musical collaboration on the internet. Like I will stand by that. I will die on that hill, and it's just because of like I grabbed the Avengers, dude, and we put together, and like Smulio had never led a team before, and the amount of work they put into it, and just to top it off, like Lydia the Bard, that's like one of the greatest singers in the world, with
Yeah.
Tegan and JP being in on not just like the post production, but getting to write with them and produce with them and whatnot. It was just like it was like the greatest honor I've ever experienced working with so many incredibly talented like Tegan and JP especially, but also just the artists. Like we had Smulio, we had Murchie, we had Gigi, we had Annie, we had oh, I'm blanking. God. We had who else do we have? We had Camel MC, of course. Camel MC was on coloring. So yeah, so those are like were the people we had, and it's just like people that I've seen do such incredibly like, oh, okay, like maybe if I ever get to be a big studio, I'll be able to work with people like that. And then it happened, and I'm just like, wow, you know.
Like, 'cause I reacted to it, and it was such a fantastic
Mm,
story there, especially one where I have a base knowledge of the Trojan War and Achilles, where I was
right.
like, oh, because I overanalyzed all the stories, like, oh yeah, this is what you were doing, and like I got called out, being like, no, that's not what happens to the kids. I'm like, shut up, I'm just not what I know here. But it's like, I mean, because like you said, a big project. This, I mean, a lot of people worked on this, but a lot of people from Epic worked on this, and
Yes.
whilst that's fantastic, is it still an ongoing thing where you have to tell people, guys, this is not Epic?
I'm like I'm very protective of the artists in that regard. I honestly don't really care in like the music aspect. If people say it's Epic 2.0, I'm honored to be compared
Hmm.
with such a massive production and with Jay, who's and like literally reaching idol stage for me at this point. Like he's so incredible and so incredibly talented. But it's mostly like that. Like there was a really negative tendency about the artists that had they worked on Epic, then that was all they were, all they did. They were epic artists in that regard,
Hmm.
and the community was treating them like absolute garbage. And I really tried to kind of like highlight the fact that like, because like for example, there was a situation with Duvet Box and Annie Flama. They were like clowned on for their art style and stuff like that. And these are like people like you're watching their art for free. Like you don't have to watch this. They're putting this out for us for free. Be grateful, you know? Like be grateful. And they were just so unhinged. And it was so like it was like downright rude comments. And it was so uncomfortable to read these comments because like I've got to be friends with both Duvet Box and Annie over the span like we were working together. And there's such great people as well behind the scenes. And people really tend to forget that once you put comments on the internet generally, but especially in a fandom like this, like if you truly see them as epic artists or whatever, stand up for them. Like that's your like those are supposed to be the artists that you enjoy watching, in your project. I don't understand where this weird hate comes from. And like the artists and we fought this for like months, and then like luckily finally Jay was able to put out a message on stories that like that made them back off a little bit, saying that like he's so grateful that all these talented artists lent their craft to the project, and that he's like really grateful for, and that to my knowledge slowed everything down a little bit with all the artist hate and whatnot, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, so especially with when you get like Merchie and Annie Flammer, who like were just Epic fans and just decided to do this, and then cultivated to then be like, okay, they are sort of unofficial animators on
Yeah.
the live streams, where it's like they were putting it out there. It's just like, no,
Yeah.
that's their work. Leave them alone. Like it's their, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, like getting back to like the roles and things, where it's just
Yeah.
like obviously a lot of great people in it. Yeah, Peter Barbie, one, Tegan, Jennifer. Like there's so many
Yeah.
people are in this, which is so fantastic. Did you have these set minds on like, okay, this character has to be played by this person?
Oh my God. It was funnily enough, when I started, I only had one person that I knew I wanted involved, which was Jennifer.
Hmm.
And Jennifer originally was going to be Persephone, funnily enough. And I sent her like the demo. She got to demo Crossroads, Persephone's song, and it
Yeah.
sounded great. And I was like all set. And then I got to meet Tegan, and I was like, oh, that's fun. And then we got into a conversation. It was mentioned that like Tegan resonates with Persephone a lot. And it's like, aha, what a dream if she like plays Persephone. Because it was at the same time where like I was getting to like starting to write Demeter, and Jennifer and Tegan have like very similar voices in their approach. I like literally Tegan could have played Demeter, and Jen could have played Persephone, and it would have been just as awesome. I feel like they could switch around those roles really well because
Yeah.
they resonate with the characters, right? So I knew that Jen was going to be a part of SFS from the very beginning because I've got to like work with her and meet her. Actually, I got to visit her in London a few
Oh,
times,
very
which was
good.
really really nice. But yeah, no, so yeah, Jen was a definite yes. And then one of the judges, because I've been living in the Czech Republic for almost 5 years now, and there's one of my buddies, Patrick. I've gotten to know and got to enjoy singing with through some a cappella groups locally. And when I was writing Rudimentes, I was like, I kind of want to give him a Czech accent to pay homage to that. And then I texted Patrick, like, hey, I'm writing this concept album musical thing. I would love for you because he's like a live jazz musician as well, jazz singer here in Czechia. So I was like, I kind of want you if you'd be down. I'd love to like have you audition for him. And then he like texted me like, he texted me the sounds like, okay, wow, if you want it, it's yours. He was like, it's okay, but do I have to wear a costume? Like he thought it was like a stage play and everything. Like no, we're gonna like have you animated and everything. And he's like, it's so funny because he is like the most offline person in the world. He's relatively known here in the Czech Republic, Patrick Shudak. But if you go to his like Spotify, it's like the Underworld now with like 2 million streams, and then the rest is just like Czech jazz music, and everything else is in Czech. It's the funniest thing. Like I had to call him because in the Underworld now was one of the first songs to reach 1 million streams, and I called him was like Baja Kamo, we hit 1 million in the Underworld now, and he was just like, yeah, of course, everybody wants to know what's in the Underworld, and he doesn't know anything about the musical. It's really funny.
I imagine, was he a little bit surprised? He'd be like, Casper, why is my page suddenly got a huge amount following now?
Yeah. He texted me like, wow, it's going really good. I'm really happy for you because his like monthly listeners was like a couple hundred maybe, and now it's like in the like tens of thousands. Which like I can imagine he wakes up to that jump scare. But it's so funny that like oh, I want to hear more Rudimentes. Let me just go check him out. And it's just like Czech jazz big band music.
No, I mean like Into the Underworld is such a great song, but it's just like. You released the first half of the concept album, which is six songs.
Yes.
Full production, full everything else out there. I think it like I don't remember numbers when I reacted to it, but like it hit big because also for you timing was perfect because you did it I think like a month or two after Epic ended.
Yeah.
So everyone was sort of like looking to be like, oh, what's the next Greek mythology? Who could do it? And lo and behold, Casper gives us something.
There it is. Yeah.
Were you any more surprised like how massive it got?
I'm always under the impression that like I don't want to expect too much. Like I always want to expect a little less because then if it reaches a little more, I'm positively surprised, right? So I remember telling my friends and my mods on my server like, oh well, this has been a really fun experience. I hope it gets like 10,000 streams in the first week and like a couple hundred at the premiere and stuff like that. And like a lot of people like one of the things I got especially on TikTok was like oh, Stories from Styx was so rushed. I only put it out because I wanted to ride the epic wave and stuff like that. But like little do they know that like 3 to 4 out of 6 songs was written before Stories from Styx in that regard, right? So like funnily enough, my Persephone originally was like was a song I wrote to a girl I had a crush on, and I sent it to her and she ghosted me, so I put it in there, and now it has like 2.1 million streams, and I always like I wonder where she is now, like just laughing. I don't know if she's heard it or whatever, but yeah, that was gone. But
just laughing off being like, it ain't your song anymore now.
It's not your song anymore. So now that was great. So yeah, I did expect it to do relatively well. And I knew that like putting it out that close to after Epic, that there was going to be the comparison. And back then I was like skyrocketed into having a platform and stuff like that. Normally you get like a slow burn, like steadily rising stuff for that, right? But mine was like basically overnight. So there was a lot of things that I had to deal with, especially like mentally. Like I had a period of time where like I would have really bad anxiety from hate comments on TikTok and stuff like that. And it was literally like I would get maybe like 20 positive ones and then 1 negative ones, and it would ruin my day. Like I would just lay in bed.
Anyone who's on YouTube especially like knows the feeling of like you could have 100 people love you. You only need one person to just say your content sucks.
Oh my god, it was the worst. And I had a really like a rough year like last year, and I got to meet a lot of people, and but it also took a lot on the mental health, and that's something that like people underestimate. That like yeah, it's great, like there's 10 million streams and Stories from Styx and content creation is going well, stuff like that, but there's just such a huge mental thing to it that I wasn't prepared for, and I'm still getting to deal with that, which is the main point why like part two has been so delayed, and why I need like a break from it and stuff like that, because there's so much on my plate now, and there's so much like expected of me, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, as well. So it's like that mental fortitude is just so exhausting, and it's so anxiety rich that like if like even if you're not, like, I'll give this like as a message, like even if you feel like you're doing well and stuff like that, having a therapist is like clutch. Even if nothing's wrong, there's always something to talk about to like prevent countermeasures. But I've developed a bunch of real fun diagnoses over my time. So like I have a really fun variant of PTSD from a lot of stuff connected to like everything that happened, and having, I'm very fortunate to have a therapist and certain people around me to help deal with that in that regard, right? But it's just really tough, especially in a comparison wise, because I'll be like happy that like my stuff did well, and then like I'll look at some of my friends that like have insane amount of listens, or like I'll even myself sometimes compare myself to Epic and Jay and be like, well, Epic is bigger than one, my entire album has less streams than like one Epic song, for example, right? And then I'll just get caught in my head about like, this, like, why are you not better, Casper? And then I get to I bring it to like my therapist or whatever, and I get to like talk about, you can't compare yourself to that. That's not how it works, and it's nice to have that outlet in a sense,
No, I mean that's true. I mean, it's just like, especially like how much you work, how much you put yourself into this. I mean, I'm gonna sound like a mel at some point. Just be like, you need to go take a break, or just like, especially like if people ask you like, oh, why is From Styx delayed too? It's like, I'm working on so many other things, guys. Like, leave me alone. Like, I mean, because we should talk about a little bit the fact that, I mean, because I wasn't expecting that soon, but Stories from Styx Part 2 is coming out in spring.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, is there any particular stories that we can at least know who are in it, or are you going to keep it wrapped up?
No, I would love to tell you. So Stories from Styx Part 2 is called The First Echoes, and it's because I'm building a larger universe where it builds up some lore. It's basically, because it's a musical anthology, it's a lot of stories that takes place in the same universe with like a velvet line in between, right? And you won't be able to like make it out from what happens now, but you'll be able to experience 5 stories that I've chosen that I want to tell that that helps that velvet line, right? So the 2 songs you already know, Achilles' Lullaby and Cheating Death. So Sisyphus and Thetis and Achilles are some of them. Yeah. I'm also exploring the myth of Persephone being like the attempted second abduction, where Theseus and Pirithous go to the underworld and try to steal her away, and that's going to be like a real fun song. So that's one that's a real song. And then publicly known, Tantalus's Punishment is one we're going to be exploring. I had a public casting call for that one and got to cast. I don't mind saying, like, there's this guy called Butler. He's from One Shot Bards. He's also European, which is real nice. Incredible voice, like it was so peak to work with him. That's like turned out really, really, really well. And then we'll end off part two with the story of Eros and Psyche.
Okay, a lot of interesting stories there. I mean, I'm excited to the second Persephone kidnapping one, just because like I saw the other one, because that's, you do get to see more of Hades' vengeful side.
Big time, yeah.
Big time. Just like, oh, okay, you think you're gonna do that? I'm gonna have fun with you lot now.
Yeah, it's the most fun I've had in a song. And like Theseus and Pirithous are played by Chris Aragon and Barry Bach. And
fantastic!
Both incredible singers that are if this was like an ideal world, I'd literally just play you the entire thing now, because it's so good. But obviously we can't do that.
But I'm glad you get. Yeah. I'm glad you gave us something just to be like, okay, so there's the stories we get into now.
Yeah.
I mean, because I mean, the fact that like I wasn't expecting a part 2 at all, because I thought it was like part 1's done. It's like, okay, fantastic. I'm not, because I mean, I'm conditioned to like Epic and Fated now, of like, okay, I've got one song, I have to wait another year now for the others. Because that's just the way TikTok musicals are now. So
it's the problem, especially because like Epic changed the game with. Well, I don't know if it was Epic specifically. There were a lot of animatics for musicals out there, but like having the creator commission indie artists to do visuals. I feel like that's such a game changer. And
Yeah.
especially TikTok musicals, they want to go that same route because it's such a good way to make musicals accessible, right? Like it's so cool. Like I have to resort to slime tutorials to watch Dear Evan Hansen in between scenes, but us indie artists can pay actual artists to make animatics to make it like something doesn't add up in that
No,
regard,
but that's entirely true. It's just
Yeah.
like you can have like you can have like a Lion the King musical do so well, but then like TikTok also did a Ratatouille the musical. It's just like
Yeah, I remember
how,
that.
how did that happen? It's just like, okay, good to know.
Oh, so peak.
Well, I mean, like, what would you say then is like, what have you had any advice from any like Jay or anyone else who's written musicals, given the advice to you like, okay, this is the thing that you should do when writing your own stuff?
Mm. I honestly haven't had I've had a few interactions with Jay, mostly on like he was really kind and share a bunch of stories from Styx on his stories and even Faded. Like he seems to be aware of like these projects coming to life inspired by Epic. And he's just like he seems like such an incredible guy. But I've had a lot of interactions with the rest of the Epic cast. I went to New York last year and I got to meet Janani, Aphrodite, and Steve Rod, Poseidon, Mason, obviously Tegan. I got to meet Anna, and they're all like Meadow as well. Meadow's not in Epic, or there's this meme like who she plays, but they're all incredible people. I cannot take my hands down. They're all incredible writers as well, especially Meadow. My goodness gracious. And especially Tegan, JP, and Meadow have been really nice at guiding me towards, because I like in the writing process and in the producing process, I was also very audible about what the public response to Stories from Styx was, and they were so great at like telling me like you're not gonna like sat me down, but like, Casper, take a deep breath. You cannot please everyone. This is your universe that you're creating, and you are they like it's really sweet. Like, we're lucky we get to experience with and stuff like that, but there's always going to be someone yapping off, right? And they really got me like in this one, be like, write what you want. If you genuinely believe that you have something good, then don't let anyone talk you out of it. Just do your thing. And they've been such great like at guiding me through, like, because they've been in the game for a while. Like, I got skyrocketed into it, right? So they've been really good at giving me like pointers to like, what do you do, what do you not do, how do you write this, what's the approach to this, how do you mix this and whatnot, right? So they've been really sweet at doing that.
Oh, I love that. I mean, because aside from whilst musical fit and that sort of has taken over your life a little bit, is there anything in the pipeline that you have going forward in terms of solo work that's not musical based that you're working on right now?
Yeah, I'm like on and off working on an indie pilot. I've been really inspired by a lot of the indie stuff from like Glitch and the Homestuck pilot, TADC, Murder
Yeah.
Drones, the Three Tomes, all these like
Oh, okay.
incredible. So I'm working a little bit on and off on an indie pilot, but that's more of like, if I'm feeling that like I don't want to, I just don't want to do anything. I just want to turn my brain off and have fun. I kind of just like work on that. But yeah,
I
I
love
do
your notion
that.
of I love your notion of turning off your brain to ready to not do work is to do more work.
Yeah, well, because like there are different kinds of work, because like now I'm so fortunate that my hobby is my job and I love it, but there's a lot of work and stress like within Stories from Styx, especially when it's such a big and especially when it's like when it's just me overseeing everything from animatics to production to getting it out to commissioning artists and all that stuff. There's just sometimes where like I'm doing this indie pilot because I kind of just want to put something out, and I've been better at putting music and creativity stuff out there, not because I'm like, there are people expecting this. There are people who are expecting me to put this out now, right? And I've been getting better at not doing this. So I'm able to turn off my brain, like I guess the marketing part of the brain in that regard, right? And just create. Because like Stories from Sticks is still very much a passion project of mine, and I love doing it. But there's also just now a certain expectation to it, which has a lot of stress with it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just like people are now thinking, like, well, you started this now. We kind of want to see you finish it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, I hopefully the fans out there, myself included, know the fact that, like, I'd rather you take your time and deliver perfection than you rush it and giving me something rubbish.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the best things are there are. So before we get to the hard hitting questions, like, is there anything like not Greek mythology based? Like, if there was ever a story that you think like, oh, I'd love to like make a song about this particular
Oh.
story. Is there any particular one that you have in mind? You think like, oh, I wish I could do that.
I'm Danish, born and raised Denmark, right? And a big part of my culture is like it's not Greek mythology, Norse mythology, like like
Yes.
yeah. And I love the story of Baldur's death and how Ragnarok starts to come around, but specifically Baldur's death, how Loki plays into it, how so many like how like everything weeps for him, and it's such a beautiful story, and it's like these stories that I would hear growing up, and
Yes.
and we got to see a tiny I got to see a variant of it in the God of War games, like that kind of
Yes, with Balder. Yeah.
yeah, and such a like we saw like Marvel has also done their spin-off of doing stuff
Yeah.
with that, yeah, and it's like very creative ways, not mythologically accurate in the
No,
slightest,
good
obviously,
lord, no.
but it's so cool, and especially because like Greek myth, I'm not Greek, and like I don't have that many Greek people involved in Stories from Styx, right? Because it's such a normalized thing, which is something that I'm working on trying to change for future parts. Because like I don't want it to reach to a point where it's like cultural appropriation almost, right? I want to.
Do people think that? Do people think you're Greek?
No, they most of the time they think I'm Dutch, which is a whole nother issue. But yeah, for goodness gracious. But yeah, I want to make sure because like I don't actually know how the Greeks feel. Like for me as a Danish person, a lot of Norse culture gets adapted into modern media, and part of me feels very fortunate that our stories are told. Like the stories of my culture are out there. People know it because of these stories, right? But another part of my stories, like for example, the Little Mermaid live action thing, right? There was a whole controversy about the lead actor stuff of that, and us people in Denmark, we're like, we don't really care about that. Why are there no Danish people involved in this production? Like we don't
Yeah, that's actually true.
It's a big thing, like because like there are colored Danish people, like there are people of color in Denmark, right? So people are like, oh, she doesn't look Danish. She doesn't look like, bro, it's a mermaid. Like who cares? But she's not Danish, right? Exactly. But she's not Danish, and there were no Danish people involved. So we were a little that, and I'm the same with like if I do anything Norse mythology related, and maybe a song about Baldur or whatever, I want it to be with the people in the culture, because it's my culture in that regard, right?
Well, I mean, because I know this in the past. So it's like I don't know if you know this. Like, there was a movie based on Hans Christian Andersen where it was like him going into like exploring like in a sort of musical sense of like how he wrote his stories. And I had one school friend who was Danish, being like, "Oh, that's wrong. Like none of this happened. That's not how it went." I was just listening to the mindset of like, dude, it's a movie. Let me have this. I don't know how he wrote this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fair, and it's great. Like it's why like the adaptations are valid, and it's great to just get the stories out there because most of the time people will look into the source material, right? Like the original Little Mermaid is way darker than like
any Hans Christian Andersen stories are
exactly
much
right. Like I'm honestly unsure what they're called in English, the fairy tales, but there's this one about the little girl with the matches or whatever. I don't know what it's called in Danish or in English.
I think I think it's like the matchmaker or like the little match girl. I know what you mean.
That one is such a dark story, right? And there are, but luckily they are making a Hans Christian Andersen movie in Denmark now with like super accurate stuff, and it's gonna be sick.
Well, if you ever do get bored of Stories from Styx, I would love to see your take on either Norse mythology, like a specific god. Be like, if there was any particular Norse story, I would love to see you adapt how Loki managed to trick giants into building the wall, or like tricked into making Mjolnir, because that's a good story as well.
Oh, that's a great story. Yeah. With like him cutting Sif's hair. Oh yeah, that's such a great story with Golden Burst. Yeah, I love that story. Yeah.
Or you have to do Hans Christian Andersen stuff, just like do like weird takes on the Little Mermaid, just be like, no, this is how it actually happened. It's just people just freak people out.
Oh my god, yeah.
All right, so we got like 10 minutes left, so let's give you the hard-hitting questions. So these are the ones where it's just like the people. I'm not expecting massive answers, right. But like give me like you don't have to give me quick answers to write, but it's like give me one where it's just like, okay, this is a dead set. Like this is what this is, and I like it. So we'll go nice and easy on you. So let's just get into it. So let's say first one, easiest song you've ever written.
Easiest song I've ever written was a song called Media Medium. It was a Has-Been fan song. It just came out in like 10 minutes.
Fair enough. And we'll also attribute this to Stories from Styx, obviously. Right. What's the easiest song to write from Stories from Styx?
Um, Funnily enough, Achilles' Lullaby.
Really?
That one was really fast, and I brought the original draft, and then Tegan magicked it up, so it actually sounded really good.
I mean, is it
So
just because it's a bit of a slow song?
it's mostly because that like I love the story of I love Achilles, I love the Iliad, and I love the portrayal. Like I love writing tragic mothers, as
Oh,
evident.
no.
So that just came out. Yeah.
Again, another Greek mythology story. It's like you learn Achilles' parents, like the mother, not necessarily a good one, but it's like we leave it be.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, on the flip side, the hardest song to write.
Oh my God. Shit. Excuse me. So apologies for this. Sorry. The hardest song. Oh, I guess that would probably have to be Titanomachy. I had to condense
See,
a giant war into one song. Like
I had an idea it was going to be that just because
Yeah.
there's so many people in it. You know?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Don't ask about the guide tracks. Did you have Jen or Peter on here?
I had Peter on here before. I'm going to have
Right.
Jennifer later.
Oh my God. You can do something really funny. Ask her about the Titanomachy guide tracks that I gave her, okay? Trust
Okay,
me,
why?
she's
What
gonna laugh.
happened there then?
She's gonna laugh. Trust me. That's good. That'll be real funny. Don't worry.
Okay, I'll remind myself of that then for Jennifer later. Okay, next one. Easiest song to sing.
Easiest song to sing? In the Underworld now.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess fair enough because
Yeah.
that's got a bit of a jazz beat to it. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
I love that. Okay. Flip side, the hardest song to sing.
Oh my goodness. I guess in SFS, it's I guess the Theseus and Pirithous song is probably going to be the hardest one for me. Like if we're going at a live setting, yeah.
Oh, I mean, just for like SBS, I was expecting Shades.
Oh no, Shades is a very comfortable range for me. I'm very comfortable in that.
Okay, just because that's quite high for you that you go.
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I got to perform it live in Chicago last year, and it went sort of. I could do that 7 days a week.
Okay, well let's just go outside SBS for a second. What is the hardest song you've ever sung?
Oh my God, I did Bohemian Rhapsody in high school.
Oh my God,
yeah, that was like for 12 days straight. That was tough. That was tough. I managed to do it, but it was tough.
What was that, like a talent competition, or is that just
it was just like it was not quite musical theater. It was like musical theater where we were the band and there were performances. So we were kind of like an orchestra where I had to sing like Bohemian Rhapsody every night. It was
that is, I mean, in school that's a hard one to sing. So I commend you on that.
Mm-hmm. It was
so well done there. Moving on. The best cover you've ever made.
The best cover I've ever made. I think my acapella cover of my songs "Know What You Did in the Dark" is probably my favorite.
Okay.
That one or "Don't Be Afraid" from the Walking Dead game. I think one of those two.
Oh wow, that is a deep cut to go from the Walking Dead game. I love that. Because not many people know the songs from that.
No, oh my God, and that was a very special experience. I have a very severe phobia of zombies, and I tried to deal with that through that game. And just that, like lullaby, like for "Don't Be Afraid" was so beautiful. So I got to do that.
Wait, you have a phobia of zombies, and you played The Walking Dead?
Kenomorphophobia, and then what we did was that I had, funnily enough, Marwan was the one that played it, and I got to spectate and make the choices. But they were so low res that it was like I had to get used to the sounds and whatnot. And it's like, oh, it still gives me nightmares to this day. But it's helped significantly on my phobia. Hopefully, one day I can get rid of it.
No, I'll be honest. I learned something today. I did not realize there was an actual phobia of zombies.
Yeah,
yeah. Just because I always feel like a phobia, I always think is the rational fear of something. And I feel like zombies ain't real. Like,
and I wish you could tell my brain that. I told my brain that so many times, but nope. Scary.
Shame. Guess you're not gonna watch 28 years later.
Oh goodness gracious, no.
Fair enough. I mean, is there any particular cover you'd wish you'd do?
I want to do "Take That," The Flood. I don't know if you know that song.
Yes.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
I bet it was one of my dad. It's my dad's was one of my dad's favorite songs growing up, and I would always hear it. And it's such a good song. He would always he always tells me isn't it cool that they go onto the crooked notes? That's what he calls a half step. There's like a crooked note right there, Casper. I love that. And he always says that. It's very funny. But yeah, that one I've been meaning to cover for a few years. Yeah.
Wow, I know if I get to take that reference on the show. That's fantastic. I've had so many Americans on here who have no idea what I'm talking about with that. Okay, so I mean, now we get to the ones that people are gonna love. Favorite musical?
My favorite musical has to be, yeah, it has to go to Dear Evan Hansen. Either Dear Evan Hansen or, honestly, Super Curveball, Undertale the musical is up there. Definitely.
Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's so good. Like, my goodness gracious. Like,
No,
oh,
because yeah, the music and then the synth, the way they do the whole thing is
oh yeah.
fantastic.
Oh yeah. It's
Uh
peak.
so sorry, Epic fans, you now know, but that's just the way it goes. To be fair, Epic's not my favorite musical, but I still
No,
love it.
it's a great musical. There was probably a point in time where it was my favorite musical, but I think like recency bias crawls in a little bit, but just like I don't know, the message of Dear Evan Hansen is just very special to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, you just go. There's also so many times I can listen to Epics on TikTok. It's just
Yeah.
like, guys, I've had enough of it. Yeah. I mean, has that happened to you? Have you been like, has there been certain songs or stories from Six where you're just like, God, I'm so sick of hearing this one
Yeah,
now?
I when it came out, I was sick of it. Like no, like it was my like I usually I was like for example, if I was listening Titanomachy, I would skip my own parts to listen to the others because I was like, I
Really?
don't want to hear myself sing. I hear that all the time and I'm sick of it. I just want to hear people. So I would listen to like There Is No Name and Crossroads all the time just because like I'd get
But
to hear
then,
those vocals. Like
but then is that difficult then to edit?
yeah.
No, but I get that because I mean, like the first time I had to do my own videos, I didn't watch myself because I was like, I'm not watching myself watching doing this. This is horrible.
Yeah, I don't edit my own videos, thankfully. I have 4 fantastic, like almost channel. I have Roger, Adam, Rachel, and Morgan, who are all incredible at like editing behind the scenes, and I have a great mod team that like I you basically just have to press record, start record, upload, and they take care of the rest. It's incredible.
Oh, you lucky damn! I have to do it. If any of them are asking for work, I'll happily hire one of them. I'd love them to do my videos.
I'll send them your channel.
Okay, moving on to the more of the Greek stuff because we have to.
For sure.
Favorite Greek mythology story?
My favorite Greek mythology story. Oh my God, that's a good one. I really love the Orphic hymn to Dionysus, I will say. Eros and Psyche is also up there. That's such a gorgeous story, my goodness. Um, oh my God, that's a tough one. I think
I mean, I can throw you one of mine just to give you some
yeah, go
inspiration.
for it.
One of my favorites is the wedding scene where like I don't know who it is. One of the Greek gods gives the couple guests a golden apple and says it's to the fairest of them all, and they have to go like between Athena, Hera, and
Yeah,
Aphrodite.
the
Like
Paris. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh God, yeah,
that's it, Paris. I'm
yeah,
just like
yeah, the Judgment of Paris. Yeah, my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm so saturated. Like, I like. I think I like my favorite like cutout is like everything Diomedes. I think Diomedes is like the coolest Greek character in the world, and like I had a lot of friends. Like I literally wrote a song called "Hymn to Diomedes," which was based on, funnily enough, DMs from the same Jay that helped me with "There's No Name." He was sending me all these awesome, cool stories and messages and borderline thirst traps about Diomedes, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. So I wrote that song from the perspective of someone in love with Diomedes, and everything with like his like the what he did in the Trojan War and the whole statue story. Yeah, that's up there for sure.
oh, actually, yeah, I'm going to change my anything involving Sisyphus. That's one of my favorites, just
Fair.
because like
Oh my God, it's a great story.
Sisyphus as like a cunning, like strange character who also manages to trick Hades is really funny to me.
Oh yeah, he got everyone good.
And last one, just and it's the easiest one, just but favorite Greek god.
Favorite Greek god?
You can be easy and go the one that everyone expects you to, or you can throw me a curveball.
people are expecting me to say Hades, but like I really love Hestia. I think she's so unproblematic. She's so great. I really like, but it's also just because I associate so many Greek gods to my friends now, right? So like Hestia is voiced by Emily Evans, who is the like the fucking I'm so sorry. Excuse me, sorry.
Apologies,
Who's the greatest like vocal approach I've ever seen. She's so kind, so nice, and Hera is voiced by Ellie, who's also just like one of my closest friends, and Alex Harper's beside. Like I was like, because when I think of them, I think of my friends, right? So I kind of quickly associate them. But I mean, Hecate is also pretty cool, isn't she? So
she's actually very cool.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll always go Poseidon just because I know he has a timid. I know he's very difficult, but
Yeah.
Percy Jackson and also just the fact like guy who causes earthquakes in tidal waves is also cool to me.
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, thank you so much for that, guys. That is the end of today's show. Thank you so much for tuning to listen to this, guys. If you're listening to this live, remember the video podcast will be out live again on Tuesday. We'll send links on Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, everywhere else to put it out there. Casper, please let everyone know what's going on. What have you got to promote?
I will say most of all, like obviously Stories from Styx Part 2 is releasing this spring, but I also would love to, if you guys enjoy the musical Next to Normal Rewired is currently releasing Act 2 of the show. So if you want to check it out on YouTube, Next to Normal Rewired is there.
No, fantastic. I cannot wait to react to those things, especially to Stories from Styx. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back next week with a different guest to see how they turn their voice into the gold that they are. And we'll catch you next time. Caleb, lovely to have you on here. We'll see you a bit later. Take care, everyone.
Bye.